Those are on. Yes. I am going to join this so that I'm not looking at the screen. Morning, Josh. So for everyone on the call, we are just waiting for Adam to join us.
Good morning, Chair Shimoni. We have all 5 board members whenever you are ready to begin.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And let's go ahead and get this meeting going. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, June 15th, and this is the Mountain Lion Board meeting. Can we get roll call?
Yes. Thank you, Chairman and members of the board. City of Flagstaff, Adam Shimoni.
Present.
Coconino County, Geronimo Vasquez.
Good morning, everybody. Present.
Morning. City of Flagstaff, Miranda Sweet.
Present.
Thank you. NAU, Josh Mayer.
Present.
Thank you. And CCC, Tony Williams.
Present. Good morning.
Morning. We have members of the Mountain Lion staff in the Bureau room and on Zoom. And we also have our attorney, Scott Holcomb, with us.
Good morning.
There's Scott. And I'll turn it back to you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda, and good morning, everybody. Good to be with you all today. So I'd like to remind everyone that the board may recess into executive session on any given agenda item if we so choose to. And given the time constraint that some of our members are in and the challenges that our different agencies are involved with, we're going to very much shorten and abbreviate the agenda today. Before we get started, I'd like just to state that Mountain Lion is doing what we can to support our staff and greater team through these challenging times. We are giving folks flexibility, allowing them to take best care of themselves. We have dozens of employees impacted, or close to a dozen employees impacted by the fires, and whether it's related to smoke and asthma or evacuation statuses, we're all being impacted. So So just wanted to state that Mountain Lion's doing what we can as an agency to support our employees through these tough times. And we appreciate all the partners in the room today who are working so diligently to keep our community safe and get through these difficult times. So thank you all. So with that, we are going to skip a couple items on the agenda, such as our safety minute. And we're going to go ahead and jump down to, let's go to item number 5. Sorry, do we have any public comment?
There is no public in attendance. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. So item number 5 on our agenda is the approval of minutes. And we're going to be reviewing 2 sets of minutes today, or approving 2 sets of minutes. Board members, any comments or questions about these minutes? And if not, is there a motion?
Chairman Shimoni, I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Vice Chair Williams. For a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Director Mayor. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same motion. That motion carries. Thank you. That brings us down to item number 6 of our agenda, which is our fiscal year 2023 proposed budget. Josh Doan will be presenting to the board, and staff recommends the board of directors approve the fiscal year 2023 proposed budget for a total expense budget of $66,310,504, with operating of $11,222,557, and capital of $55,065,947. Josh.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Shimoni and members of the board. Today is just a brief summary of the fiscal year 2023 budget for consideration and final approval. Over the last several months, we've reviewed different portions of the budget with both the Transit Advisory Committee and the Board of Directors, including the workforce budget in February, the remainder of operating in March, capital expenditures in April, and Heather with an overview of revenue sources for the entire budget in May. All of these were outlined in detail in each meeting, and no changes or updates have been made since those presentations. Some highlights for the workforce budget. Rhonda, you can actually switch. Yeah. For the workforce budget, include incorporating the adjustment approved by the board last October to compensate for recent inflation. It includes a pay plan with anniversary increases of 4.5% for drivers and supervisors on step tables, and 3% increases for all of their staff. It includes a significant increase in recruitment allowance and new hire bonuses and referral bonuses for current staff. And it also includes an increase in employee appreciation, which are things like employee events and recognition programs. Highlights for the remainder of the budget, the operating budget, include a substantial increase in the fuel budget. Hopefully that'll be enough. And an insurance increase of approximately $100,000. That projection may be overstated by a bit, but we want to have the budget capacity created just in case. So that's it for operating. We've tried to allocate increases where they're needed the most and keep everything else flat. The big bulk of the budget this year, obviously, is the capital budget. We have a big year with several key initiatives moving forward. The largest capital project is, of course, the Downtown Connection Center at about $30 million. We have about $7 million of budget capacity for bicycle and pedestrian first last mile infrastructure projects. This capacity in our budget is matched by the city instead of our own transit tax fund. And then we have the CDL training course in partnership with NIU. Most of these projects are funded by federal grants. So our transit tax fund just provides the matching funds for that. And finally, our City of Flagstaff, Rhonda, you can switch to the next. City of Flagstaff Transit Tax Fund Balance. Fund balance monies are used for operating expenses as well as required local match funds after federal funds awarded are spent on the various capital projects. The blue line is our projection should the budget be adopted and capital projects move forward to completion through the next 4 years. We believe after all items currently in our financial plan are accounted for, we will maintain a sustainable fund balance. So with that, I should thank everyone, all staff, board and TAC and community members who provided evaluation and prioritization of every piece of our operations and capital plans to help craft the budget. It's a big effort for everyone to put together every year, and everyone's input through the process is valuable to achieve our goal of serving the community. So with that brief recap, we are asking the board to approve the fiscal year 2023 budget of $66,310,504, including operating expenditures of $11,244,557, and capital expenditures of $55,065,947.
Josh, thank you so much. Board members, any comments, questions, concerns about the budget? I thought it looked very good, and I'm excited to see this move forward. Is there a motion that someone would like to present?
I will. Move to approve the staff recommended budget, FY 2023 budget as presented.
Thank you, Director Mayer. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll take the Director Sweet on the second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, same motion. That motion carries. Thank you all so much. So for the rest of the discussion action items here, board, I'd like for us to table items 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Basically, leaving us with item number 9, our Mountain Line Go reports. These the ones that we're looking to table due to time constraints and the non-urgency of these items. Heather has informed me that we can do so comfortably. Are there any comments or questions about that? Concerns about tabling items 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12? Heather, do we need like a vote or anything like that, or is this a nodding of heads kind of enough?
I think generally we take a vote to table items, so we would prefer a motion and then a second and a vote, please.
Okay. Would someone like, I'll go ahead and provide the motion to table items 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Williams. Motion by myself, seconded by Vice Chair Williams. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Scott Holcomb. You just be clear that we table it to the next regular meeting.
Yes, we'll be tabling to the next regular meeting. Do we need a second on that? Or is that okay?
That's just a clarification of your motion. You're good.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same motion. That motion carried. Thank you so much. So that brings us down to item number 9, where we're going to be spending the bulk of our time. And that is discussing the Mountain Line Go report with Estella Hollander. Staff recommends the Board of Directors approve the continuation of Mountain Line Go Huntington after June 30th, 2022, and align fares with fixed routes fares to allow for fare integration between both modes. Staff recommends the board of directors, this is not very clear, my computer. Discontinue the Mountain Line Go Airport pilot on June 30th, 2022, and reevaluate service options through the FlexF in motion plan. Estella.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Estella Hollander, Mobility Planner for Mountain Line. And correct, we have two motions today. The first one is geared towards the pilot going on in Huntington area, and the second motion is geared towards the airport pilot. So first couple slides, just a little bit of background to make sure we're all on the same page. So Mountain Line is currently conducting two microtransit pilots. So microtransit is an on-demand transportation solution using our paratransit vans. So the first one is in the Huntington Industrial Corridor, and the second one is service to the airport. So for the Huntington area, this launched on November 1st, and is really a first mile, last mile solution, meaning it's gaining some better access to this Huntington area, which includes the shelter, the guidance center, Hajoni, a dialysis center, a variety of other clinics and other services. It's really geared towards, again, bringing better access to this area and connecting people to the greater fixed route service. Fares are $1 currently. And so for some fare integration, currently there is no fare equipment on the paratransit vans. So there's no fare box, no validator, anything like that. And right now the rides are $1 each way. There's no day pass option. So if someone takes 5 rides, they pay $5. But there's some opportunities to kind of improve this going forward. So through the grant, which is funding this pilot, we were able to purchase fare equipment. So that includes like the fare boxes, validators to allow for our fare cards to be used. So there's opportunities for fare integration with fixed route. As a reminder, this pilot is really geared towards bringing people and connecting people to the greater fixed route system. So through this integration, there's opportunities for our day passes to be used, period passes like 30-day passes, fare capping and mobile ticketing. All those different great fare opportunities on our fixed route system could then be used on this pilot. And so for continuation, we received direction from both the TAC and board in February and May to continue this pilot, since it is really filling in a crucial service gap in our existing area. So looking at FY23 budget, this pilot is currently using commingling, meaning one van, so our paratransit vans are picking up both paratransit riders and microtransit riders. So we're not having to put a dedicated additional vehicle out there. So through this commingling, it can be very cost effective to provide this additional service. So it's estimated that for FY23 budget, it'd be about 11% increase in operating funds. This really is to cover some existing service hours in the afternoon, since service goes till 6 p.m. during the weekdays, and sometimes paratransit can end anywhere between 4 and 4:30. But through this commingling, we're able to decrease cost per trip, kind of when combining paratransit and microtransit, we're able to decrease some of that cost per trip, which is great. We are continuing to research, and when available, we'll apply for grant opportunities. We did apply for the Coconino County American Rescue Funds per suggestion from Board Vasquez. And really with continuation suggesting some alignment of fares with fixed route. So currently, the microtransit pilot is $1 per ride. So aligning with fixed route would be $1.25 per ride, but there would be opportunities for day pass and things like that. So switching gears to the airport pilot. So this is really geared towards that second action item. So for the airport pilot, this was this launched on March 1st using grant funds that end at the end of this month. And that's really how it's been communicated through some of our marketing, that this is grant funded and really one-time grant funds. This is also a commingled service with paratransit, and there's basically pickup anywhere within city limits and dropped off at the airport, and fares are $2. So some of the financials, so for the airport service, even though it is commingled, our service hours are 4:30 in the morning to 9:30 at night, which is, there's definitely on the early morning side as well as in the late night side. This is typically when we don't provide paratransit, we just don't have demand for paratransit. So there's really a dedicated vehicle out there for these airport trips. And based on some demand, it is suggested, that we might need an additional vehicle in the early morning, because that's when, so far, we've been seeing the most rides. So for those kind of additional morning, evening, as well as weekend, and that additional vehicle, it's estimated that the annual cost would be $538,000. And just to put kind of in perspective, our paratransit operations for FY23 is $580,000. So it's almost doubling the service. And this airport service is not part of our FY23 budget. So while at the May advance, we did hear there was a suggestion to continue the pilot to get more data. Upon further reflection, staff do not feel that there's a need to really gather more data. We understand that the demand is there. We understand that there is, when providing service to the airport, there is a need in the community to provide some level of service. But really, staff are recommending that we need time to determine the best way to serve this area, as well as seek some partnership for funding opportunities. Staff want to look holistically at service priorities through Flagstaff in Motion. Again, this, over $500,000, this would be, trying to understand that this is the top priority to put additional funds toward. In addition to run this service during the pilot period, we've been having new hire staff. So operators who are in our CDL program, they've been working 6 days a week. So they've been training for 5 and then working an additional day to do this service, since you don't need a CDL license, and that's not a sustainable option. In addition, due to staff shortages, Mountain Line has had to reduce service on Route 4 and 10. And staff find it's more of a priority to bring these routes back up to regular service levels than continue this airport service. In addition, cost per trip is high, around $77 per hour, and fare currently is just $2 per person. So we'd like to reevaluate sort of the right size what that fare should be. And so for next steps, again, staff understand that serving the airport is still very important, and it is still a priority for the community. But really through Flagstaff in Motion, want to dig a bit deeper. So really be able to right-side this program, understand the transportation mode, maybe it's fixed route, maybe it is microtransit, maybe changing the way this program potentially could work. And really holistically prioritize service in the community. There's plenty of other service gaps and areas that the board and TAC have discussed through other discussions in the Flagstaff in Motion. So really figuring out kind of where airport service fits in with all these various needs in the community. As well as understand the types of vehicles and fare, especially again, it is $2 currently. So just understanding kind of how much it truly should cost. And seek some partnerships to fund. Currently this was an opportunity for Mountain Line through this grant, but going forward, finding some partnerships options. At the advance, the board mentioned maybe partnering with hotels or the city. So, through this Flagstaff in Motion, kind of put together a plan and figure out some partnership opportunities. So that is the end of my presentation. So the first motion is again geared towards that Huntington corridor and seeking approval to continue this pilot and align fares with fixed route. And then the second motion is geared towards the airport, and staff are recommending to discontinue this pilot in order to reevaluate service options through the Flagstaff in Motion plan. I'm open for questions.
Ella, thank you. Processing it all. Thank you for the presentation. A lot to digest here. Directors, any questions or comments? Director Vasquez, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm just curious about the airport pilot. if we're gonna discontinue it, what are some of the options that you're looking at? Because we know that the airport service is gonna be needed in some way, but it sounds like this pilot's done its job. So what's the plan moving forward?
Thank you. So I think we would take that, the opportunity through Flagstaff in Motion and see kind of, again, holistically what some different options are. I believe, one option could be fixed route, maybe going through Ponderosa Trails, which is a need in our community. We could reevaluate like through microtransit, maybe it's different service parameters. There's a variety of different options. So we don't necessarily have a set answer for you today, but I think through taking this time to evaluate some different options.
Great, thank you.
And just to piggyback on that, my comment is along those same lines, Estella. My thought is I'd like to see what a funding calculation would look like if we were closer to capacity on the shuttle, the way we have it set up now. And I'd also be curious if we were to do more outreach to the adjacent businesses in that area to see if there's more partnership there, just to get that regular, capacity. I'm just curious, how to make this approach work rather than a fixed route approach. So maybe in the future with the Flagstaff in Motion updates, maybe that could be woven in somehow.
Definitely, thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, I will note, I don't think microtransit is off the table, but I think it is understanding, right, what type of partnership, like funding opportunities to help support, because currently this program is not budgeted. So I think understanding, could cities, could the hotels maybe help fund this to make it financially sustainable?
And on the topic of Huntington Corridor, I'm just really grateful that that's continuing and really a very important service. So that's really wonderful. Congratulations to the team on seeing that through. Any other comments or questions, directors? Okay, not hearing anything. We have two motions on the table. Well, not officially yet, but two motions to consider. Is there, would someone like to put forward a motion?
Chairman Shimoni, I move to approve the continuation of the Mountain Line Go Huntington after June 30th, 2022, and to align fares and fixed route fares to allow for fare integration between both modes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Vice Chair Williams and a second by Director Mayer. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same motion. That motion carries. Thank you. Is there a motion for the second recommendation?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we discontinue the Mountain Line Go Airport pilot on June 30th, 2022, and reevaluate services options through the Flagstaff in Motion plan.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Wonderful. We have a motion from Director Vasquez and a second by Director Sweet. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same motion. That motion carries. Thank you so much. Thank you, Estella. That brings us down to our consent items, of which there are 4 of. We're hoping to address all of them in one vote as usual, but if anyone would like to pull any of these items, we can do that. And just know that we will come back to this at our August meeting through an action item. So with that being said, I would like to pull item 14, which is our fiscal year 2023 procurement resolution, just because I have some comments and questions. Heather, if that's okay. And so we'll bring that back in August. But are there any other agenda items that people want to pull? And Heather, did you want to add anything?
I don't have anything to add, but we'll get that procurement resolution in August.
Thank you. Any other items that folks would like to pull? And if not, would someone like to make a motion for the remaining 3? of our consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the balance of the consent.
Thank you, Director Mayor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Director Mayor, second by Director Vasquez. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you so much. That brings us down to our progress reports. And I'm going to pass this over to Heather to give us some quick updates and maybe highlight some very important work anniversaries.
Yes, why don't we start with that item? Thank you, Chair Shimoni. So progress reports are in your packet. If you have questions, concerns, or would like us to put anything on the agenda, please let us know. The current events was also included in the packet. I'm just going to pull two real quick items. One, I'd like to recognize Rhonda Cashman's anniversary. Rhonda has been with us 11 years serving as our clerk of the board and does a tremendous amount of work to support our team members here at Mountain Line, as well as our board and TAC functions. So congratulations to Rhonda and thanks for all that you do.
Woo!
Thank you.
And then as mentioned early in the meeting, Mountain Line has been impacted by the pipeline fire and the haywire fires that are creating community concerns and evacuations. And so briefly, we have about 12 team members that are either evacuated or in pre-evacuation status. We actually have 2 that are in evacuation and the remainder in the set status. That has impacted our ability to continue providing our regularly scheduled service. And I'll just add that the evacuation status and staff being impacted by that is just compounded by the staffing shortage that we continue to face here. Jim provided me an update briefly before the meetings. We are supposed to have 53 full-time staff members and we currently have 40. So we are short 13 team members. And then when you add to that the 12 team members impacted by the fire, you can see how drastic our staffing situation is. Our minimal staffing required for our summer schedule is 33, which means we're really operating in a deficit of 5 team members to meet our full-time staffing requirements. And that continues to create situations like Estella described, where we have team members working 6 days a week. Some staff are not getting any time off. Many are working 10, 12 and longer days, which we prefer not to do for safety reasons. So we are evaluating what are our next steps as we see people return to their homes and the firefighters accomplish their objectives with getting that fire contained and even out. So I'll keep you informed as we make operational decisions. Right now, our message to the public has been that we went to weekend frequency, but we are operating weekday service hours. So that means we are operating 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., but we are not doing it at our typical weekday frequency. And one example is Route 2 would normally be 20-minute frequency, and on the weekends is 30-minute frequency. So that just gives you an idea of some challenges. There are other routes that have 30-minute frequency during the week and are at 60-minute frequency while we're performing weekday frequency or weekend frequency. We hope to return to close to regular service as possible, as quickly as possible. But again, we're going to need to evaluate the staffing shortage we continue to face in addition to the impacts of the fire. And that's my very brief kind of staffing and operational status update. And I appreciate you giving me a moment to celebrate Rhonda and her anniversary.
Yes, congratulations, Rhonda, and all those who are celebrating their anniversaries with Mountain Line. We appreciate your service. Any fair items, any future agenda item requests, board members? And knowing that we're basically out of time, you're welcome to email Heather if you want to think about that. Heather, I'd like to see us at some point talk about the Sedona shuttle effort that has been drastically reducing cars volume on the roads in Sedona. We can talk more about that offline, but that'd be great if we can bring that before the board just for our educational purposes. And then, you know, we're about to go on break for a couple months, so enjoy the next couple months, folks. Appreciate your service again to Mountain Line, and really appreciate all of the partners represented at the table here during such difficult times, and special shout out to the county. But I know that all of us are doing many different, very powerful and important things right now for the community, and yeah, appreciate you all. With that, we are adjourned and see you all in a couple of months. Be well.
Thank you, everyone, for your time
Thank you,
today.
everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank
Be
you.
safe.